Aquarius, have you ever felt like you were waiting for someone to choose you, to finally show up, to finally see you? You told yourself you were okay, you smiled, you nodded, you went about your days, but deep inside, a little door stay pay. And then one day, you didn't close it out of anger. You closed it because you were tired. That moment, that quiet surrender, was when everything began to shift. I want you to take a breath with me and feel it. Can you sense it? The change that starts not with them, but with you. Drop a sparkles if you feel this, if you've ever been there. And stay, because what happens next isn't what you expect, it's bigger than you think. Have you noticed, Aquarius, how quiet it becomes when you finally stop waiting? It's almost sacred. The world doesn't shout at you anymore, and yet you feel this subtle vibration, as if the universe itself is leaning closer, holding its breath with you. You realize you've been carrying more than just hope. You've been carrying fragments of someone else's choices, their hesitation, their fear, and every one of those pieces left a weight on your chest. And now that weight begins to lift. You might find yourself walking slower, noticing the sunlight touch the leaves differently, hearing the laughter of strangers on the street, and feeling light. Not because the story has resolved itself, but because you finally let go of holding the story together. You didn't abandon love. You abandoned the need to control it, the endless tally of ifs and maybes. And in that surrender, something remarkable unfolds. The air around you changes, Aquarius. A pulse, subtle at first, like the hum of a distant star, whispers that the space you created is now yours, pure, untethered, untouchable, and deeply healing. There's a strange power in absence, isn't there? When someone stops having access to your waiting heart, when they sense the silence that isn't punishment but boundaries, they begin to notice. And you, standing there in your quiet strength, feel both the emptiness and the infinite potential. You realize how often you've silenced yourself, shaped yourself into what you thought they needed, and now, finally, there is no shaping. There is only you, and that truth is luminous. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be truly seen without trying? To be recognized, not for what you give, but simply for being the way you are. That is the energy you've invited now. You are no longer waiting with bated breath, you are breathing freely. Each inhale draws back pieces of yourself you may have loaned away. Each exhale carries away what was never yours to keep. And in that rhythm, a clarity emerges, a quiet map guiding you, Aquarius, to what is authentic, to what deserves the sacredness of your presence. And yet there is a tension you might not have expected. For a moment, you notice shadows in the corners of your mind, memories of what could have been, echoes of promises unkept. But even here, there is a subtle magic. The universe is not punishing, it is recalibrating. You are learning that love is never truly lost, only misaligned until it finds resonance with the version of you that refuses compromise on your worth. As you move through this awakening, Aquarius, notice how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The cup of coffee steaming in the morning sun feels warmer. The gentle sway of a passing tree feels like a companion. The laughter of someone in a distant park resonates in your chest. All of it is subtle yet transformative. You are beginning to inhabit a reality that once felt too vast, too demanding, too unfamiliar. But it is yours, because you stopped waiting. I wonder, can you feel it yet? That moment when life tilts slightly, imperceptibly, and suddenly, the universe is no longer something you chase but something that moves with you. Can you sense how what you once thought was silence is actually the hum of possibility? And in this gentle turning, Aquarius, a quiet truth settles over you. Everything you thought depended on their choice now depends on yours. And that is the beginning of a story so luminous, it will leave them wondering what they nearly lost and leave you feeling entirely, beautifully, unshakably whole. Aquarius, have you felt the subtle shift that happens when you finally release? It is not loud, not dramatic, but it is undeniable. You may notice it first in the quiet moments between the sunrise and the coffee cup in your hand. Your breath feels deeper. The small spaces in your day, once heavy with longing, now stretch open like soft velvet. You are no longer tethered to the pause of someone else's indecision. And that, my dear Aquarius, is when the energy truly begins to turn. It is remarkable how much we give away without realizing it. How much of our heart we lend, quietly, hoping it will be returned exactly as we imagined. But when you stop holding on to the expectation, when you stop chasing a response that may never come, something extraordinary happens. You reclaim pieces of yourself that you didn't even know were missing. You feel your body relax in ways it hasn't in years. The nights grow still, the sleep deepens, and even the simplest laughter tastes sweeter. You are beginning to remember what it feels like to be unburdened. And yet, Aquarius, this shift does not come without a strange kind of tension. There is a lingering echo of what you thought you needed. a whisper of the past that flutters through the spaces you now own. It is delicate, almost invisible, but it is there. And in that delicate tension, there is clarity. You begin to notice the subtle ways your heart responds differently, the way you carry yourself with less urgency, the way your smile lingers longer because it is not waiting for approval. Have you observed how the world seems to notice you differently in return? Not because you demand it, but because you are no longer available in the ways that once invited compromise. There is a shift in the air around you, a vibration that tells the universe you have recalibrated. They may sense it too, that something essential has moved, that the gravity you once lent freely is no longer theirs to command. And in that recognition, there is both a quiet power and a gentle humility. You are learning that presence, when it is chosen freely, is infinitely more luminous than the presence coerced by longing. In this space, Aquarius, life begins to feel almost sacred. Ordinary moments hum with significance. The tilt of the sunlight through the window becomes a gentle reminder that you are here fully unfragmented. Even the small, unremarkable exchanges with the world carry weight because you are no longer measuring them against someone else's absence. And in this new rhythm, a subtle revelation emerges. Love that once required negotiation now simply aligns with the truth of who you are. Do you feel it yet? The quiet pulse beneath the surface, the knowing that the story is shifting, not because they changed, but because you finally chose yourself. You are no longer waiting for validation. You are no longer pausing for permission. You are moving with a clarity that is rare, luminous, and deeply human. And in that clarity, Aquarius, you sense it, the universe is responding to the energy you reclaimed, turning possibilities you never imagined into a horizon that stretches wider, brighter, and entirely yours. It is here, in this stillness, that everything begins to change. Aquarius, do you feel how silence can suddenly carry weight? It is subtle at first, almost invisible. But it moves through the spaces you once filled with words and worry. They start to notice the absence, not the absence of love, but the absence of your availability. There is a strange, almost magnetic pause that begins to hang in the air. You are no longer extending yourself for someone else's indecision, and the universe around you seems to lean in, watching, noticing, responding. They feel it in ways they cannot name. Not through logic, not through deliberate thought, but as a hollow where presence once lived. That empty space echoes louder than any argument, louder than any plea. You have stepped back, and in that step, the rhythm has shifted. The moments they once took for granted now feel rare, precious, because you no longer offer them on autopilot. There is a quiet power and restraint, Aquarius, and it hums like a secret song that only the heart can hear. Perhaps it is in the way your laughter lingers without expectation, or in the way your gaze no longer seeks approval. There is a freedom in simply being, and that freedom casts a reflection they cannot ignore. They begin to wonder at the spaces they cannot fill, at the warmth that slips quietly from their hands. And in that wonder, a subtle panic may rise, an internal recognition of loss, even if they will not say it aloud. You are teaching them, without a single word, what it means to be fully present for themselves. It is delicate, Aquarius. Like sunlight breaking through mist, they may try to understand it, rationalize it, but it slips past reasoning. That emptiness, that pause, that quiet withdrawal, it resonates on a level that cannot be argued with. And as they feel it, they may finally grasp a truth you have known all along: love cannot be asked for, coaxed, or negotiated into existence. It either flows freely, or it is not the love you deserve. Do you notice the irony? That in stepping back, you illuminate what was always there but unseen. That the absence of your constant presence becomes a mirror for their own choices, their own courage, their own readiness. It is not punishment, Aquarius. It is clarity. It is the natural consequence of your own alignment with truth, with self-respect, with the cosmic rhythm that guides you. And yet, in this subtle shift, there is a strange beauty. They may feel loss, but you feel lightness. They may search for what they cannot name, and you quietly are discovering the depth of your own gravity. The energy you reclaim does not vanish, it ripples outward gently, creating space for growth, for reflection, for awakening. Can you sense it yet? That invisible thread connecting action to awareness, absence to insight, pause to possibility? That thread is your quiet power, Aquarius, and it has begun to weave a story far larger than what either of you could have scripted. You have not abandoned, you have simply chosen alignment. And in that alignment, the world shifts imperceptibly, opening doors that were always meant for you. Aquarius, there is a clarity that arrives quietly. It does not announce itself with fireworks or fanfare. It simply settles in your chest and your mind, and suddenly, the fog that once clouded your heart begins to lift. You see patterns where there was only repetition. Faces, words, promises, they align, and the truth you had been avoiding stares back at you. You understand, with a precision that is almost startling, that love is not about endurance alone. It is not about filling in the gaps for someone who cannot decide, cannot commit, cannot show up fully. You watch the hesitation, the subtle avoidance, the promises that dissolve when action is required, and something's inside you shifts. It is not sadness, nor is it anger, it is recognition. Recognition that you have been asking for what should have been given freely. There is a gentle heartbreak in realizing that someone could want you and still not choose you. That someone could see you and still turn away from the responsibility of keeping your light safe. And yet, Aquarius, there is an unexpected liberation in this vision. Because seeing clearly allows you to finally honor your own depth. The love you offer is not less because it is unclaimed, it is profound because it is authentic. You no longer dilute it to fit someone else's fear. Can you feel it, Aquarius? That subtle power that rises when you no longer negotiate your worth. It is soft, almost imperceptible, but it courses through every decision, every pause, every quiet moment of reflection. You are no longer trapped in the loop of expectation. You are aligned with a higher rhythm, one that respects the gravity of your spirit. And in that alignment, the illusions begin to fade. They may not see it at first. They may try to grasp the weight of your absence, the force of your self-respect, but they cannot replicate the clarity you have gained. You have become a mirror of what true love demands: courage, presence, and the willingness to choose fully, without compromise. And this mirror reflects more than disappointment, it reflects possibility. It reflects a path where love is neither desperate nor conditional, but a shared resonance of souls who are ready to meet each other fully. And in this quiet understanding, Aquarius, you begin to notice another truth: that leaving is not failure. That stepping away is not rejection. It is a declaration, a soft, unwavering statement that you will not settle for anything less than what you are willing to give, without fear or compromise. Your heart does not harden, it awakens. It pulses with a kind of cosmic integrity that cannot be denied. Have you ever felt how liberating it is to see someone exactly as they are, without the haze of hope clouding your vision? To recognize the courage you have gathered, the strength that rises simply from knowing yourself. That is the gift of truth, Aquarius. And in this gift, you find a quiet peace that even the absence of love cannot diminish. Aquarius, have you noticed how absence can sometimes speak louder than words? There is a subtle tremor that stirs within them, one they cannot name, one they cannot ignore. Outside, they may appear calm, even indifferent, as if nothing has shifted. But inside, the stillness of your decision to step back has set waves in motion. And waves, they always find a shore. They start to feel the spaces you once filled. The quiet moments at night, when their mind wanders uninvited to you. They remember how you listened not just to respond, but to truly hear the pulse of their soul. And suddenly, the thought of losing that connection becomes unbearable. It is not a rational thought, Aquarius, it is a deep, almost instinctual recognition of what has always been invaluable. Can you picture it? The way the absence of your presence bends time and perception. The way the subtle power you reclaim begins to ripple through the quiet corners of their mind. And in that ripple, they feel a pull they never felt before, a gravity that cannot be reasoned away. They begin to question themselves, their choices, the very moments they thought mattered. If this person leaves, will I ever have them again? They wonder. It is not your leaving that creates fear. It is your newfound constancy, your refusal to be just another option, your unwavering fidelity to your own heart. They realize, perhaps for the first time, that the stability they once took for granted was, in truth, a reflection of your patience, your generosity, and your willingness to stay when it felt inconvenient. That patience has transformed into an unspoken boundary, a line drawn without bitterness, only clarity. And Aquarius, here is the extraordinary part as they wrestle with this internal chaos, as their thoughts circle around the gravity of what they almost lost. You are not trapped in their reaction. You are free, moving in harmony with a rhythm that honors your truth. You are neither punishing nor retaliating. You are simply awake, fully present to the cosmos that aligns with your soul. The beauty of this moment is in its quiet revelation. The realization that they are stirred not because they controlled you, but because they recognize the power of your authenticity. They see what it means to truly encounter someone who will not compromise their essence for approval, for comfort, for convenience. And in that seeing, a shift occurs. A subtle, trembling understanding that your worth cannot be negotiated, and that your heart, though gentle, will not be bent into a shadow of itself. Can you feel it, Aquarius, the gentle tremor of change, not in them, but within the cosmic pulse that surrounds you both? It is not chaos, it is awakening. And in this awakening, the story begins to take on a new light, a light that is at once startling and beautiful, one that invites them to reflect, and you to step fully into the peace of your own choice. Aquarius, have you ever noticed that the quietest revolutions often happen within? The shift you feel now, it is not born from their return, nor from their recognition. It is a subtle, radiant awakening inside you, the kind that changes the rhythm of your heartbeat, the texture of your days. You have begun to honor yourself in ways that feel unfamiliar, almost daring, yet profoundly liberating. You are no longer negotiating for fragments of love. You are no longer holding a space for someone who might hesitate to enter it fully. And in the tender, luminous corners of your own heart, clarity begins to settle like morning light spilling into a long, dark room. You feel the weight of uncertainty lifting, not because someone else has changed, but because you have. There is a distinct power in choosing your own boundaries, in choosing to no longer temper your essence for someone who cannot meet it. The energy around you shifts. It is subtle at first, a warmth in your chest, a quiet knowing in your mind. But gradually it grows, a pulse that dances through your thoughts and your breath. And in that pulse, Aquarius, you sense that the world itself responds, reflecting back the strength you have always carried, yet rarely allowed to flourish. Perhaps it is in the small rituals that this transformation is most palpable. The morning when you pour your coffee and savor the silence. The walk in the park where sunlight laces through the trees, reminding you that life moves on whether you wait for approval or not. You recognize the beauty of your own autonomy, the dignity in your self-respect. You notice how effortless it feels to smile for yourself, to laugh for yourself without an audience, without permission. And in this space, you may sense them watching, uncertain, almost tentative. But this is not about their fear, it is about your awakening. They notice because you are no longer theirs to shape or sway. Your presence has become magnetic not because you chase it, but because you hold your own light steady, unwavering. Isn't it remarkable, Aquarius, how stepping into your own value transforms the energy around you, often without a word spoken? How the act of fully choosing yourself sends ripples across the quiet spaces between hearts. This is the paradox of love. The deeper you root in your truth, the more the universe conspires to honor it. And so, you stand differently now. The same heart, yet refined. The same soul, yet unrestrained. And even if they return to a version of you who is not a shadow to fill, but a force that cannot be overlooked. And in that realization, you step forward, not with anger, nor with longing, but with a quiet, luminous certainty. Can you feel it, Aquarius, the soft, cosmic tremor that tells you this transformation is irreversible, that the love you most needed was always waiting within you? That love, and only that love, will guide the chapters yet to unfold. Aquarius, imagine this the moment they appear again. The energy between you has already transformed. You are no longer a quiet shadow waiting in the background, no longer a soft echo of what they want. You stand in the full radiance of your own presence. And in that radiance, the power of choice hums quietly, yet unmistakably. They might think the world is still the same, that the rules of connection are unchanged, but they will sense immediately that something essential has shifted. You are no longer their safety net, no longer an option to be taken for granted. Your absence is not a threat. It is a revelation. The truth you have cultivated inside yourself now shines outward, a quiet but undeniable force. They will feel it. Perhaps in a glance, a hesitation, a question forming on their lips that never finds its words. They might try to reclaim the familiarity, the comfort of what they once assumed was theirs. But Aquarius, you know better now. You know that love given without respect or without reciprocity is no longer a language you speak. And in the spaces they cannot occupy, in the pauses between what was and what is, you discover your own heartbeat sounding clearer, stronger, steadier. It is remarkable, the way the universe seems to honor this new alignment. You are no longer defined by someone else's indecision, and yet the cosmos conspires to reflect the integrity and courage you have cultivated. Every step you take, every choice to remain true to yourself, sends a ripple across your world. It is subtle, perhaps even invisible to anyone else, yet it changes everything. And so, if they return, it will not be because you were missing. It will be because they recognize the gravity of your self-worth, the depth of your authenticity. But here is the quiet truth, Aquarius, this is not about testing them, nor about claiming revenge. It is about standing unwavering in your own clarity, in the luminous understanding that you are not defined by being chosen, you are defined by the depth with which you honor yourself. Imagine holding the power to decide what love looks like for you. To open your heart, or to keep it guarded, with grace, with certainty. And in that choice, to feel free, not fearful, to feel alive, not tethered. That is the cosmic shift that is now yours to command. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer negotiating. You are moving with intention, guided by the gravity of your own truth. Have you noticed, Aquarius, how liberating it is when love is no longer something you chase, but something that finds you in alignment with your own soul? How does it feel to stand so fully in the certainty that you cannot be replaced, that your presence is yours alone to wield with wisdom and light? And as you allow this awareness to settle into the quiet chambers of your heart, the world opens in ways that were always possible, yet previously unseen. The choice is yours, and you are free, luminous, and entirely enough. Aquarius, there is a profound grace in the way you have learned to move through this world without compromise. You are not cold. You are not distant. You are faithful to the truth that resides in the quiet chambers of your soul, and that truth has become your compass. In your patience, in the moments when you chose to stay longer than you needed, you discovered the weight and the freedom of authenticity, how it can anchor you yet let you soar at the same time. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not punish you for choosing yourself. It does not scold you for stepping away from illusions or for embracing clarity. What it does is mirror your own integrity back to you, in subtle ways, in quiet ripples across your days, in the gentle alignments of people, circumstances, and opportunities that finally resonate with your true frequency. You realize now that balance is not something given. It is something cultivated. And your courage to honor your own value has shifted everything without a single word spoken. It is fascinating how the cosmos conspires to reflect what you have quietly nurtured, the kind of love that does not demand you shrink, the kind of respect that honors your boundaries, the kind of peace that feels like coming home after a long, wandering journey. And in this rhythm, Aquarius, you sense a freedom you may not have imagined when you first waited, when you first wondered if your heart would find its echo. Your patience, your insight, your refusal to settle for less than you deserve, it has rearranged the stars around you in a way that no one else could have. And yet, there is a question that lingers softly, almost imperceptibly. How often do we overlook the quiet power of just being ourselves, of letting the world adjust to our light, instead of bending ourselves to the shadows of someone else's uncertainty? You may find yourself smiling at the memory of the times you questioned your own worth, realizing how far you've come, realizing how luminous your presence is when untethered from the expectations of others. When you stop waiting, Aquarius, something remarkable happens. Life stops being a negotiation with fear or longing. It becomes an invitation to witness yourself fully, to step into a rhythm where love, respect, and clarity are not gifts you hope to receive, they are reflections of the truth you carry. And in that truth, you find not only freedom, but also a profound sense of healing, a knowing that the heart you have preserved, the boundaries you have honored, and the courage you have shown are more powerful than any fleeting desire or uncertain attachment. So, as you sit with this awareness, notice how the light feels different now, how the energy hums beneath your skin, how the world seems to pause, just long enough for you to recognize you are enough. You have always been enough. And in that knowing, Aquarius, everything changes not because the world bends to you, but because you have chosen to stand fully in yourself. And I wonder, as you listen to this now, can you feel the space opening around you? The subtle shift that lets the universe finally mirror your own brilliance back to you. Aquarius, take a deep breath with me. Feel the rhythm of your own heart, steady, unshaken. Everything you have walked through, every quiet moment of waiting, every gentle act of choosing yourself, it has brought you here. And now, as you sit with this, notice the subtle shift, the gentle unfolding of a truth you've always known. You are enough, just as you are, and the universe is quietly aligning to honor that. It may surprise you the way freedom feels when it's earned, not begged for. The way clarity hums softly beneath your skin, like the first hint of dawn brushing across the sky. There is no rush, no need to force the world to bend. Everything you've learned about patience, about trust, about standing fully in your own light, it is your power, and it radiates outward in ways that touch the hearts of those who are ready to receive it. So here's my invitation to you, Aquarius, let this energy sink in. Let it remind you that your choices matter. Your boundaries are sacred. Your truth is magnetic. And the love that is meant for you will always find its ways, not because you chase it, but because you honor yourself. Can you feel it? That quiet miracle of alignment, that ripple of energy that says, I am here, I am enough, and I trust my path. Share that feeling, drop a word in the comments, let someone else know they are not alone, that they are seen. Let's hold this space together, a community of hearts brave enough to choose themselves first. Remember, Aquarius, this is not the end of your journey. It is a beginning. The next message is coming. And when it does, it will meet you exactly where you are, ready to light another spark, open another door, and remind you, again, that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. So stay with this feeling, carry it gently into your day. Trust yourself, trust your heart, and subscribe so that when the universe whispers the next secret meant for you, you'll hear it, ready to embrace it fully. Because you, Aquarius, you are not just surviving, you are evolving, you are healing, you are luminous. And everything that is meant to be is finding its way to you.